Alright, how am I going to start this video? That sounds good. So after I was finished rearranging my living room, I teased that I was going to do something with this large blank wall. Last spring I took a drawing class, and I really enjoyed it. I ended up with several drawings after that semester, and I have them laying out in front of me now, and we're kind of going to go through them, revisit them, and see what we're going to end up with on the wall. Shoes! This was not my shoe, this was somebody else's shoe. We exchanged shoes in this class. Ooh! This was one of my first homework assignments. We're supposed to draw shoes and plant life. So there you go. Shoes and plant life. I remember her pointing out my garlic as being really good. Some good garlic. Yeah, this is better. This was definitely later in the class. This is on toned paper. You use black and white charcoal and Conte to get your different values. Definitely one of the nicer drawings. I can tell when some of these were drawn based on the type of paper I used, because we used better paper as we got better at drawing. I think this is a tube of toothpaste, another bone, and on this side, oh good lord, here I got ambitious. I drew my entire key ring. Alright, here's the piece of art that I probably got the worst grade on, but it's just fabric tacked to the wall. And it was apparently an exercise in value, and I didn't have enough contrast, and therefore I did not do well on this drawing. Got more bones and some skulls. This is actually one of my favorites from the class. It's sloppy as all get out, and there's a million things wrong with it, I'm sure. Alright, what's this one? Ew, it's creepy. Now this was an interesting exercise that she had us do, but basically she would put a slide on, and it was just a blur. And then she would gradually make it more and more in focus. The idea was that you would just play off the values that you saw, and so you would start with just dark splotches and light splotches. And as she brought it more and more into focus, you would refine those areas and turn it into whatever it was actually supposed to be. There's a few more of these. Let's see. This is a statue, and he doesn't have a head and part of his arm. Poor guy. I think this is the last one we did like that. There's another statue. This guy happens to have his head though, so that's good. So, at the very end of the class, she had us start working on drawing faces. And she didn't really grade us heavily on those, because clearly it was a drawing one class, and drawing faces is one of the more challenging things. But this is one of my first attempts. And we used ourselves as a model. I look very depressed. Look at me! Look at those stone eyes! I got lazy on this ear. I didn't even do any details on this ear. At least over here I have an earring. It's a special drawing. But these are again those on tone paper where you use the white and black on it. And these are marshmallows, and nobody enjoyed drawing marshmallows, but she had us do it. This is the one we did in class. I spent a lot more time on this one. I had more fun building the structure, because we used toothpicks and marshmallows. More fun with that than actually drawing it. Here's my silhouette. She really liked this one. She said it was one of the best she'd seen in that class. I think the biggest thing I learned from this drawing is when you draw things that dark, the amount of coats of spray it takes to seal it is ridiculous. I think I sprayed this at least half a dozen times, and you can still rub your hand on it and get charcoal off. Popcorn. She was big on popcorn for a while, which I was okay with because I got to eat it. Here's a later face. It's a little better. No value in this one. Still got those stone eyes. We didn't do eyes, really. She said we could if we wanted to, but it wasn't required for the grade, and I very rarely do things that aren't required for the grade. But this is the one I did for homework, and this one, which does have value, I did spend a little bit of time on the eyes. Was done in class. What do you think? Does it look like me? Alright, I saved the big one for the last. This was our final project. She actually had us build a sculpture for this out of found objects. And of course my objects were a computer mouse, a roll of toilet paper, and some origami cubes. There really isn't any rhyme or reason why these objects were picked. This is actually also the only drawing that I bothered titling. I call it ones and zeros, and occasionally a number 2.